Feline Follies is equally traumatizing and also pretty entertaining. This is considered to be the very first Felix the Cat animation, although at this point he was actually called Master Tom. And Master Tom goes away from his house to meet up with Miss Kitty White. Miss Kitty White, we believe to be his girlfriend, his female love interest, and they spend a lot of time together when, Master Tom should really be tidying up the house, but he goes to see Miss Kitty. And they spend time together. Master Tom goes home again, the house has been ransacked by mice, he gets into trouble, and then something happens, and I will explain in a moment with a spoiler warning what happens, but I should also use a trigger warning as well, because this does actually deal with a very sensitive topic. And that is in itself quite interesting, because we normally think of cartoons as being for children, but that never used to be the case, particularly when cartoons first originated. This was in 1919, so it's not the very first animation, but we are talking kind of when animation started to really take off and become something that was quite marketable. Directed by Otto Messmer, and as the story goes, Mesmer approached Pat Sullivan Cartoons, Pat Sullivan himself, and, said, I'm an illustrator, I'd like to get into animation. Sullivan said, show me what you can do, and Mesmer apparently put together this cartoon. And it ends in such a shocking way, which I will discuss in a moment, that, he got a job as an animator, and the rest, of course, is history. And it's definitely not for children. And I think it's so interesting to look back at classic cartoons where some are suitable for children, but a lot of them are definitely not. And they were just made by animators, adult animators, creating a different kind of entertainment for fellow adult viewers. And that's exactly what we get with Feline Follies. But I also love the fact that, there's a strong message in it. Master Tom, or Felix, has neglected his household duties. He's gone off with this woman, this female cat, and as a result, there are consequences. His actions have consequences. And there will be a spoiler from now. I'm about to spoil what happens at the end of it. At the very end, he's been kicked out of his house because he neglected his duties, and the mice caused a chaos. So he goes to Miss Kitty's house, obviously hoping to be taken in, and Miss Kitty steps to one side and reveals a litter of kittens. Their frolicking resulted in Felix, or Master Tom, becoming a father, and he's just been kicked out of his house, and he cannot cope anymore. So he runs away in this fantastic bit of animation where the speed of this cat is incredible, and he stops outside the gasworks, puts a pipe in his mouth, the little hose pipe, and takes his own life. The end. Obviously not suitable for children. And the fact that, as the story goes, Mesmer presented this, and Pat Sullivan really enjoyed this and wanted more, kind of suggests that cartoons provide, obviously, an escape from reality. That's definitely one of the strong reasons why even fully grown adults love animated films, even today. They provide a very strong escape from reality, but they still allow you to tackle quite difficult subjects. If this had been the same story, but live action, I think it would have been more difficult to watch. Whereas as an animation, and the fact that it's a cat and not a human, kind of provides enough distance between the viewer and the characters that you can actually find some entertainment in it. And obviously the comedy is not from what Felix or Tom does at the very end. No one's going, oh, ha ha, he's just taken his own life, that's hilarious. It's kind of a more look at how chaotic his life has become in a matter of seconds. It's utterly insane. And it's also kind of like, oh, haha, the animators actually made that brave move. Good on them. This is quite an entertaining thing to do because it's so shocking. And I think it's really effective. Nowadays, this would never be created. Absolutely would not be created. Also, interestingly, I'm just looking at the information on IMDb and it's got a U rating. That doesn't seem right. Who provided Feline Follies with a universal rating? That's a bit dodgy. Has there been a remastered version with a different ending? Have they maybe truncated it or something? Because that's definitely not Certificate Universal. That's very insane. I will have to look more into that, but if you know anything about it, please feel free to tell me. But certainly, as a piece of history, of animation history, as an early origin story for Felix, I think it's fabulous. There's a lot that you could discuss about this. I'm having a lot of fun discovering kind of the origin stories of classic characters. This is not how I expected Felix or Master Tom to begin. Feline Follies is definitely something else.